What is going on, YouTube? I am back with another Magic related video. This one is discussing proxies for any card game really, but specifically I'm focusing on Magic the Gathering here, as it is the card game that I play the most. I do, mess around with Kaijudo, and I used to be a big Yu-Gi-Oh player, and I've been dabbing into Pokemon a little bit here recently. But this is by far my main game. And on the left-hand side is a stack of the 10 dual lands, specifically from Revised, that I purchased from Star City Games with some of my Pell Grant money for the college. And on the right-hand side is a stack of 10 dual land proxies that I had commissioned for a friend of mine, because he wanted to use them in his Progenitus deck, but just doesn't have the money to put into the game. So, okay, basically this video is going to be going over what proxies are, what purpose they serve, how they differ from counterfeits when done correctly, so on and so forth. I know that a lot of people love to use the term proxy as a way to sell cards on, Chinese websites and eBay and Etsy and other, various forms in order to counterfeit cards. I do actually have one example of a counterfeit card right here, and it is a dual land. It is a counterfeit unlimited Taiga, a very poor counterfeit, I might add. And I did not buy this. Somebody I know happened to have it, and he gave it to me for the purpose of the video. This is not a proxy. This is a illegitimate knockoff card from China that is meant to replicate the dual lands. And I know a lot of people will use these counterfeits as proxies. I'm going to discuss using counterfeit cards as proxies versus using commissioned proxies, and so on and so forth. So what is the purpose of a proxy card? There's various purposes. In competitive formats, the purpose of a proxy could be to play test with the card before spending big money on the card itself. For example, when Fate Reforged came out, I know a lot of people, or I actually knew a lot of people in my local play group who were proxying Ugin the Spirit Dragons because they didn't want to go out and buy their play set, which would have cost 120 bucks at the time, and just end up not really needing them. So another use of proxies happens to be as a placeholder card. For example, not everyone will want to put their original dual lands into a deck because they're too expensive. They don't want to risk them getting damaged. So what they'll do is they'll buy, proxies, and they'll use them in the deck. And when someone wants to see proof that they actually have the card or not, they'll show them off. And then in another example would be Commander and Cube, where it's a very casual kind of format. Also Vintage, because I hear Vintage allows for proxy use, but mostly Commander and Cube, where it's kind of a more casual setting, and you just don't want to blow a few $1,000s on cardboard. And it's completely understandable. If you would have asked me just a few months ago, I would tell you that I would never own the original dual lands, and if it wasn't for my falling in love with Scion of the Ur Dragon when Fate Reforged was released and all these new Great Dragon cards came out, I would have told you the same thing. But here I am now, I have the stack. But I don't blame anybody for not wanting to spend this kind of big money again, and I would never spend the money that I did on these dual lands again. I would just buy my own proxies, because my thought is I already have the cards. Why should I buy other copies of them to put in other decks? And that's another use of proxies. If you have them in one deck, have the actual card in one deck, and you want to use them in another deck, proxy them into that deck, if it is a casual format. What is the difference between a proxy and a counterfeit? Okay, I'm going to move the genuine ones out of the way here. I'm going to find the Taiga specifically. Okay. Here is a proxy Taiga. Now I'm going to find the real Taiga in my dual lands. Here is, whoops, knocking my camera over. Here is a genuine Taiga from Revised, and here is a knockoff Taiga. Okay, the difference between a proxy and a counterfeit is counterfeits are made with the intention to deceive somebody. So you're purposely trying to fool somebody into thinking that this is a real card, whether you're trying to scam them with it or play in a competitive format with it. A proxy is one that not always, but usually is made in a different way and is very obvious that it is not genuine. For example, here we have this card. The shine on it's not right. The back is a modern style Magic back. The feel is completely off. You see a different set symbol. And down here it's a little bit blurred. Whoops. But it does say Proxy factory not for sale. These guys make very, very nice proxies, by the way. So this card was never intended to be used as a real card. It's very obviously meant to be a placeholder or a proxy card. Unlike this, which to the untrained eye looks real enough. Like, okay, here's a Legion illustrated matte sleeve, double matte sleeve. If we put this fake in here, some players who aren't used to these cards will be none the wiser. You could play it against them and they wouldn't have any clue that it's a fake card, and you can even trade it to them. And even though this particular one feels quite a bit different from a real card, because it's made very poorly, they would be none the wiser to it because they're not used to these kind of cards. So, I don't support the use of counterfeit cards in any shape, way, or form. What about as cards to be used as proxies? I also don't agree with using counterfeit cards as proxies. Not because I have any issue with the way the cards look. Obviously, they're going to be very easy to tell the abilities on them. It's printed usually the same exact printed ability on the regular card. However, it's the fact that by buying these as proxies, you are supporting counterfeiters. You are supporting people that are making their money scamming other individuals who are playing this game, or supporting those who are going to scam other individuals playing this game. You could probably spend the same amount of money on a set of 10 counterfeit dual lands as you could 10 proxy dual lands. And if anyone wants to know where who the manufacturer or the maker of this proxy is, let me know, and I'll happily let you guys know who it is. It's pretty decent proxy work. But I would much rather see proxy manufacturers like the guy who made these supported than the no-name entity that created this. This is just a shameless knockoff. So moving back into proxies or their uses of proxy in Commander and Cube and whatnot. This is a bit of a heated topic because some players are just really uppity. They just want, real cards only. Well, I spent this much money on the game, and my opponent should have to as well. That's not the way the world works, guys. It's not. Anyone who expects their opponent to spend thousands of dollars to play a casual format is not only insane, but I'm just going to say it, is a bit of a dick, because it's a casual format. I mean, I play Modern very competitively. I play Standard pretty competitively. I don't play Commander competitively, and nor would I ever tell anyone, hey, you have to spend this big amount of money on your cards. I may personally choose to spend money on the legitimate cards most of the time for my Commander decks, but I'm not going to tell anybody else they have to spend that big, that large amounts of money to do so. Not everyone has the funds. And should somebody who just happens to be, working on a minimum wage job's budget, should they have to really suffer from what they can afford and not be able to play the cards they want in a casual format? No, they really shouldn't. That's a whole different video topic, but the main difference between a proxy and a counterfeit is proxies are never made with deception in mind, whereas counterfeits are. Also, I'm going to show off the proxies that were made here because I really love the artwork on them. I know it's from I think it's Magic Online's artwork. Beautiful, beautiful work, and I'm going to show it next to the actual cards. So, Tundras, and I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. And this is another advantage of having proxies, is sometimes the art is just superior. And I'll go over that here in a little bit too. Scrublands, fairly similar. Underground Sea, absolutely gorgeous. Love this Underground Sea art. Volcanic Islands, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful on both of them. I love the vibrant colors on the proxy here, I'm not even gonna lie. Badlands. Bayou. Taiga. Plateau. Savannah. Beautiful Savannah over here, and by far the best example of better art on a proxy that I can show off right now is the Tropical Island. Oh my god, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful proxy here. Love the vibrant colors, love the artwork, love it, love it, love it. And that is an advantage to having them. It's just you can get better artwork on some of them. And while these may not be the primary example of that, let me show some proxies here that I actually commissioned off. Here is one that was the actual card originally is an altered print that was done by alteredprints.com, but I had printed as just a foil proxy because when I was playtesting with Marshflats in my brother's Black-White Tokens deck. And this would be a great proxy to throw into a commander deck because it looks nice. It's obviously not a real card, but it works perfectly as a placeholder. Another example here is somebody's altered artwork. And you'll find this a lot of the time. You'll see someone who does altered art on real cards, and they upload the images, and they make very beautiful proxies if you print them off. Sensei's Dividing Top, or Divining Top. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? You know, a dreidel with some money around it. Kind of a cool thing. If you're playing a... how about a Sultai deck? If you're playing a Sultai commander deck with Sidisi, and you're going kind of themed with it, what is cooler than having your Divining Top or Divining Top with... or divining, okay, I know there's some arguments on how it's pronounced, but what is cooler than having it with some gold around it there, huh? See, that's just, there are many advantages to having the proxies. There's no real need to spend it. There's nothing at all wrong with spending that much money on the cards, but there's nothing wrong with not choosing to spend that much money on the cards. Oh, and by the way, because this is a counterfeit and I don't support them, let's just go ahead and destroy that, shall we? Now look at that, it's just kind of film. Ugh. Even the back of it's filmed on. But ugh. Anyways, so I hope this video was somewhat informative, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll come back to y'all later with some more videos that hopefully will be just as interesting. So until next time, take care.